Welcome to the OpenJ9 community call for July 19th. If you haven't already, please add your name and company affiliation to the minutes. If you have anything important to bring up at the beginning of the meeting, please speak up. Otherwise, I'll just continue. We have no lightning talk today. Take a look at the user raised minutes. Sorry, the user raised issues. Something just opened that we've been investigating. If you send a user signal to a JVM, it could freeze if you have a lot of threads. So
So
no.
part of that issue asks for an option to disable the native symbol resolution that seems to slow things down and expose the reason for the hang. I would think the default for such an option should be the current behavior, which probably makes the option of little value because you won't know to use it until after it's hung, and then you don't get what you wanted anyway. So, any other opinions?
Well, I guess the customers that are running into this know that it hangs, so they would know to use the option. So it would help them.
Yeah. So
The other possibility is not to, I don't know if we could tell, but maybe don't turn on the feature for an abort signal.
well, I don't know that it matters.
Or not an abort, a user raised signal.
Yeah, I don't know that it. Yeah, that's another option. Again, I'm not sure that if we have that information at the time the dump is requested. And
Something to look into because
yeah,
we only want it to be turned on for GPFs. That's the main benefit.
yeah, I guess mostly for problems in native code. Anyway, my preference would be to fix the underlying cause of the hang, because I believe the hang can happen even without collecting the symbols.
Right. So maybe talk to Manching. I guess users can't move up to the latest. They're stuck on an older level. He might want the option so that iFix builds could be put out to those customers to a later build. See if Manching needs that while you're working on a proper fix.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a performance gap of a 3-layer nested loop. I think VJ said he was going to look into that. Then we've got a different result running with the JIT than with Xint. It's added to our list in 034, and there's 2 of them. Oh, I see the one's older. Anybody have anything to bring up for user raised issues? All right, so our 033 release. The only thing that we still have remaining in our milestone plan is the OpenSSL update, just a reminder to ourselves to update, not that we really need it. So just FYI, there was a 111Q that released, version released, but it doesn't compile on Mac. OpenSSL has since fixed that version in the headstream. It doesn't help us for consuming Q. The security update in the Q update doesn't affect Semru/OpenJ9 builds. So we're going to continue to build with P and go out with that version for the 033 release, and then we'll pick up R whenever that occurs, if there ever is another security update for OpenSSL 111. And then the second issue related to FIPS, I believe. That was identified as a test issue. I was hoping the test would get fixed. That doesn't seem to have happened, but it's not going to block the release. Does anybody have any questions, concerns about 033? Today is the OpenJDK release day, so we're expecting OpenJDK updates later this afternoon, and we'll integrate those. There'll be all the security fixes. We'll integrate those and run OpenJ9 builds and do release candidate 1 builds with those changes and do all the triage. All right, that takes us to 034. Still lots of issues. I guess I didn't update these numbers. Take a quick look. So we're at 78. We were at 81. I think what we should do is cancel the 034 milestone, but let's take a look at the Loom and JVM TI updates first. So Jack, can you take us through Project Loom?
Yes, Pete. So for Project Loom, we have just able to merge the basic continuation entry and yield support in. Currently that is working. Basic testing have passed on that. I am currently working on a bit more of the basic testing implementation for Loom and also some functional features to be added to JCL to support some checks on carrier thread before we enter the continuation. GAC have proposed a new option of swapping between continuations, which would remove the need that we have for stacking extra new interpreter instances on top every time we do a transition to continuation. So that should fix our issues with the excessive use on OS thread stack. In terms of GC work, I believe Lin is doing some fix-up and testing on the latest head branch to verify that his changes are working correctly as intended. From JIT side, I believe they have been looking into the pending support, which hopefully will be done this week or at max next week. I have delayed the due date for full virtual thread function implementation to next week to give us some extra time to wrap up the changes needed on the JCL side. JVM TI support, we expect it to take longer. Probably not going to be ready for this month. We'll hope to have it done in August.
Do we have updated numbers of how many we've handled so far?
I think we're actually, I'll defer that to Babney. He have a better understanding of it. Is Babney on the call?
Sure. Should be able to get a list here, just a sec.
Nope, I don't see Babney. But I believe they've been working through, I think, 1 or 2 extra new ones.
Okay, we'll try to update our numbers when we can catch up with WebNeat. And then Lynn's changes that you mentioned, are those changes that are delivered or changes that are yet to be delivered?
They're still in progress, I believe. But they're very close to completion, I would say.
So given that we're not going to be ready this month, into next month, given current estimates, doesn't seem very realistic to try and deliver 034 milestone in September. So what I'm proposing is we cancel 034, we try to deliver Java 1901 in October. I would just change the milestone, remove the 034 number, just label it as Java 19. It will contain anything that we're working on for Java 19, and anything that's not version specific for 19 can go into the 035 milestone plan. Anybody have any comments or concerns?
I agree with that, Pete. What is the what would the M1 date then, or the branch date? Sorry, for
End of August. Sorry, I got too many windows covering up other windows. Just a sec. So about August 29th.
Okay. Yep. I like proactively moving the date forward rather than sliding it every week. I think that's a good approach.
Yeah, I would like to keep the Java 19 issues separate. So if for some reason we still weren't ready for 035, we'd have those issues separate from what we need to resolve to get 035 out the door for other versions. Okay, Cheng, do you have an update for Panama? You're talking, Cheng, you're on mute.
Can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah,
Peter.
now we can hear you.
Okay. So far on the part one is a bit of the Java part is already merged, and the rest of the native parts is still keep going in terms of code review. And Darren, is there anything you want to add for the A6 and the Z?
Yeah, so on the Z side, Dhruv is he's finished up some testing that he was doing. He expects to have a PR opened imminently for his work. X86 is coming along, but it unfortunately won't be ready by the end of this week. It probably needs another week to get some of the finer details right. And I suspect that AR64 is in the same boat as well. Both of those are just sort of hung up on getting the structures passed and returned by value, which is particularly hairy part of the ABI. So anyway, so it looks like we're going to need another week or so for the x86 and AR64, which since we're slipping the date now, it sounds like that's containable then.
Anything else?
I just have a question for Cheng now that you're here. So you're in the process of delivering all the changes that you have on your internal branch, like you're moving all those into master now?
Yes, yeah. Basically, what I'm doing is there's just remove every change out there. If you can prefer to either or you separate, you can submit a PR for it, but you have to verify with my changes from the branches before you submit for code review. You
Right.
can just merge.
When do you expect to have all the changes that are in your private branches merged into master?
Basically, so far we just separate separate different PRs, Java native and for submit a code review. And once we're done, if you're not ready, and you can just submit the code review separately. That's what I'm planning to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Because already my changes, you already have the placeholder up there, so you just replace it with that placeholder and just submit. If it works.
Does anyone have any Adoptium updates today? I don't see the right people on the call. Any updates on machines, Adam?
So we added 6 Ubuntu 20 A Linux at OSU back. Those were the ones that were there before that then got disappeared on us. I've set them for lower priority so they won't get jobs unless the other machines are busy. Still having issues with the new Windows machines, so we're still investigating and trying out different things there. Artifactory disk is down because we had cleaned up to 20 days instead of 25. I think we can probably bump that back up now. If that's right with you, Pete.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll be doing another set of 033 builds, and then we can turn those off. So yeah, maybe we can go up to 25 days. We can see how it looks before the weekend.
Okay. That's all I had.
Devin, you put in some changes to a couple of versions to make CMake the default across the board. Were you going to make that same change for the remaining versions?
Yeah, I just got sidetracked by some other stuff, but I'll make a note. I'll get to that today.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I don't know. That would be a little late to put changes into the release, so probably merge those after we do 033. All the platforms that we're building regularly already use CMake anyways.
Yeah.
So JIT server, anything tough
Nothing.
for JIT server?
Yeah, nothing worth of mentioning this time around.
Or microJIT, anything besides the next
Same.
date?
Yeah, same thing. Nothing important.
Toby, CRIU?
Nothing new to discuss this week.
Okay, and it's the Mac M1.
Nothing new either, except maybe one thing that I'll mention is that there have been a couple of reports of developers running the x86 JVM on Mac M1. So when you do that, Apple has an emulator, an x86 emulator that runs. There have been a couple of crashes reported in the emulator itself while executing JITted code. It's not clear yet why this is happening or if there's any workaround to it. But it is something that we're going to do a bit of investigation on just so that we have some kind of an answer for our service teams in case we start getting problems like this reported. But at this point, I don't really have any suggestions for a workaround. But we'll have to see what the issue is. It could very well we have to report a problem to Apple, but we're not quite there yet.
But it seems like we're close to putting out, we could put out a Mac M1 build without compressed ref support.
Yes.
I'm thinking we should consider that, although there does seem to be one or two functional issues remaining in particular.
Yeah, we could do that. It doesn't solve the problem for everyone though, because some people have got natives that are built only on x86 that they can't run. So they're going to need to run x86 on Mac. But you're right. We can put out and we plan to put out a JDK 19 or a Mac M1 and JDK 19.
Well, so the next release is now going to be 035 for all the versions. So does that mean we could put out Plus for Mac M1?
Sorry, there's a lot of noise there. I didn't hear what you said.
The next release is now going to be for all versions. So could we put out 11 Plus for Mac M1?
On full heap, we can do 11 and 17 and 19, I believe. Yeah. We'll just have to get some extra testing in on 11 and 17.
So the one thing I was concerned about is there's a invalid JIT return address problem that still happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I suggested it earlier in the issue, but I don't think we usually get any diagnostics or anything to help us figure this out. I was thinking we should modify the code so that when it's printing out that message, we cause diagnostic files to be created so we can try to get a handle on what's going on.
Right. Okay, I'll suggest that to Kono-san if he hasn't seen that.
So I don't know how many other issues we have that would be stopping us from removing the EA besides the compressed ref support.
I think generally we're in pretty good shape. So other than a few issues that we probably need to get to the bottom of, I think that we're, other than the lack of functionality there, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Actually, there is one other one where we crash or hang or do something related to class loader load class. That just happened last night as well. So it's another thing we should get to the bottom of. Okay, does anyone have any other business to discuss?
Sorry, just to clarify, we were talking about removing the EA for this release or October release?
October release.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're still to decide if we can do that. But
We're going to remove EA, but also call it well, I don't know what the term is, the full heap version only. Large heap. Because
How do we want to call it that? Like in the file name or just in the announcement?
in the, well, I guess on the download link, on the table where you click on,
Okay.
at least say that it's large heap only.
Okay.
didn't we used to call them XL builds?
Yeah,
We could go back to that naming.
we didn't do that
scheme.
for Semaru though, right? Semaru was after we went to mixed. I'm pretty sure. So we'd have to figure out how to do that. Shouldn't be too hard, but
Well, we have until October to figure it out.
Yeah,
Plus,
yeah.
I think there's still some issues to be resolved before we can do that. So,
another M1 question, but did we have a chance to look into the mixed arch builds? If that's what they're called.
We've done no investigation into that.
sorry, what's that related to? I'm not sure I understood the question.
There's a way you can build Mac binaries for both architectures.
Oh, I see.
I'll send you a link.
That's okay. I understand what you're talking about now.
Are people going to really want that? Double the size of the download for everybody?
I don't know if it's double, but yeah, somebody asked about it.
So, I mean, all the native stuff is probably about double. The class files probably can be shared, but I'm not quite sure what we'd have to do to make a module, lib/modules file that works for both platforms. I think it's a non-trivial effort, I think, is what we're talking about.
Does anybody have anything else?
Hey, Peter, I think I joined late, so I missed the question regarding JVMTI for Project Loom. I added a link over there to track the work, JVMTI work for Project Loom. It contains a list of all functions which need to be updated, and I'm striking them off as they get completed or if they get assigned to someone.
Okay. So the status is still the same. We've handled 5, and there's 2 more work in progress.
No, I think one more was assigned, and I think solution for one of them will also apply to few other. So few more are being covered than last week.
Okay. This is the issue, I guess.
Yes. So the comment is the task list.
This one here, the revised list.
Yes. And I will keep it up to date as more work gets completed or if the list changes in some form.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Got 2 minutes. Anything else? Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.